And welcome back to the booth here at Pro Tour Ixalan. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe. This is Paul Cheon. We've got one more round of booster draft to bring you here, and we've got a good one. Two players sitting at 8-2, so a critical juncture in the tournament for them, trying to finish off their draft strong. Owen Turtenwald from Team Ultimate Guard is facing down Eli Kassis from Team Cardhoarder. Let's head on down. It's time for round number 11 here from Pro Tour Ixalan. Hello and welcome back to coverage here at Pro Tour Ixalan. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Paul Cheon. And we've got down in the feature match area two players sitting at 8-2, both from the United States. First and foremost, it's Eli Kassis. He's playing for Team Cardhoarder. Team Cardhoarder made up of Noah Walker, Robert Graves, Joe Lissette, Shaheen Sarani, and Jack Kiefer. He's sitting at 8-2, facing down. Well, this is not going to be an easy round. That is Owen Turtenwald from Team Ultimate Guard. Of course, Paul Rietzel, Andrew Cuneo, Reed Duke, William Huey Jensen, and the GOAT, John Finkel, round out that particular team. And they're meeting here in round 3 of the second booster draft. Matchup-wise, both look pretty aggressive here, Paul.
Yeah, so Owen Turtenwald's got a really nice, just well-curved, lots of powerful cards, red-white aggro deck, just red-white dinosaurs. And Eli, however, he's aggressive, but maybe even a little more aggressive than Owen's deck. He is off to a bit of a slow start, but when I was looking through his list, the first thing I saw were 3 copies of Fire Shrine Keeper. And what that usually tells me is somebody's ready to go swashbuckling.
And is he?
He's got 2 copies of swashbuckling in his deck.
Wow, you can see these curve outs here, by the way, from Turtenwald. And even though he did have his creature tapped down there, and there's the swashbuckling from Eli Kassis. He gets to attack for 6 damage.
Don't have to put it on a 1-drop, turns out.
Yeah, that extra clause that it gives haste can sometimes throw people off, but it gets that Tillinolly's Knight into the red zone here, and we have a full-on race on our hands.
No blocks.
No blocks from nobody. Okay, well, that is probably one of Turtenwald's weakest cards there.
But look at this. He played 3 cards in 1 turn.
3 creatures in a turn. All right. I'm picking up what you're putting down here, Owen. The Kinjali's Collar likely to just be a chump blocker.
Yep.
That's probably going to be its role this game.
And that Raptor Hatchling probably going to just block right away, upgrade into a 3/3 as it creates a 3/3 dinosaur creature.
Yeah.
Once it takes the damage. So that is a nice free block that you get there.
Fire Shrine Keeper.
Wow, no attacks.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to upgrade the Raptor Hatchling. It is such a big swing in Owen's direction. He gets to effectively gain a bunch of life and get a better attacker. And Eli just says, I'm going to have none of that.
And currently the 4/4 Tillinolly's Knight is actually keeping all the other creatures at bay. Owen can only attack with the 1/3 flyer.
Wow, good top deck there from Turtenwald. He did not have that last turn. Bellowing Aegisaur now actually has decent attacks, and with the way that Owen's draw has panned out, where he played 3 creatures last turn, well, let's just say that Kinjali's Collar, it might hit the red zone yet.
Yeah, that Bellowing Aegisaur currently looks like it's very likely to be a 6-mana 3/5 unblockable creature, because I don't think Eli is very interested in pumping the rest of Owen's squad.
Yeah, he can either just start attacking with it at will.
Whoa, everything. What is happening
Wait,
here?
I think I know what's going to happen. I think Owen might have Slash of Talons in his hand.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm putting it together, Marshall.
So I think we're going to see blocks lined up, and Eli's going to say, well, I'm just going to ignore the Bellowing Aegisaur, and I think Owen might force the issue. The question is, would you pay 2 mana to put a +1/+1 counter on everything? And I think the answer is, oh, yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Or excuse me, 1 mana.
mana.
Yeah, 2 damage.
1 mana, +1/+1 counter on all your creatures. Yeah, because I think that the Bellowing Aegisaur is not going to be blocked here. So Eli is just going to try to find reasonable blocks for all the other creatures, and very good chance that Owen just is going to have a pretty brutal...
Well, this is not going to work out well for Eli Kassis. It's his only block. So Owen can Slash of Talons his own Bellowing Aegisaur, which would actually make the Fathom Fleet Firebrand big enough.
Right.
And that's exactly what he's going to do. A clever and cool play as he grabs a handful of dice.
He had him already. Boom.
It
Each
is-
other.
It is other.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to 5.
And you heard it. Owen's doing our job for us. You go down to 5 and look at the board state that Owen. This has been an absolutely explosive game. Early turns, bang, bang. Players are dumping 3 cards on the thing. It was swashbuckling. Then it was like, boop, let's just wait a couple of turns. Nobody attacked or 1 damage was done.
Really actually attacking with a Headstrong Brute here. And Owen snaps off the double block. What does Eli have here?
Any effects? Sure.
Right.
Seems like a reasonable trade
That's
from Owen's perspective. He
definitely
gets a threat off the board and
Whoa.
actually still upgrades his dinosaur.
Seems like an upgrade. That was just a strict upgrade for Owen. I guess that creature couldn't block because Eli currently doesn't have any pirates, but Owen's
we're
creature
gonna
did
see
just
a big
get better.
attack here from Turtenwald. He's
Boom.
in.
Oh, and even the 1/4.
Kinjali's caller, you're the real hero. It enabled Owen's top-decked Bellowing Aegisaur to be played.
did.
He did not have his 6th land,
Right.
and we're just going to say that it's the card that got in for the lethal damage. So explosive stuff from our main feature match here between these two players. This is not the time to go get a sandwich, although tell you what, I'll give you a couple of minutes. If you can make a sandwich quickly and come back before the break's over, you're going to be okay. But you don't want to miss game 2 between these two. We'll be back right after these messages.
Check out Ixalan Booster Draft Leagues on Magic Online. Draft anytime, play anytime. Available now. For more information, visit mtgo.com.
Grand Prix events offer great experiences for players of all skill levels. These Magic celebrations are headlined by 2-day open tournaments with pro players, feature top artist signings, and host a wide range of side events. Find an upcoming Grand Prix event near you at magic.wizards.com/Grand Prix.
Welcome back to the feature match area here at Pro Tour Ixalan. We're in Albuquerque, New Mexico. You can see everybody still battling. And you can even hear some of the action down in the feature match area. Let's take a look in here at John Rolfe versus Mike Sigrist. Mike, running the tables here at the Pro Tour, he is 9-1 coming into the round, as is John Rolfe. Team Channel Fireball having a truly fantastic day one. Really a historic one from their perspective. They said, even on a team as accomplished as they are, that this is actually the best day one that they've had. And Sigrist is one of the two that was leading the pack and has kept it up here in the limited portion as well. What are we seeing here, though? Life total's pretty low, 9-6 in game one. And it looks like Sigrist is under assault here.
I think it might actually be Mike Sigrist's turn.
Oh, those creatures were tapped and had attacked last turn. Okay. I'm kind of getting that vibe too now, Paul.
Yeah,
but it's hard to
creatures
say.
were tapped, and actually in the previous turn, Sigrist attacked with the Fell flagship by crewing it with the Desperate Castaways as they kind of work together. Even though it's a 2-power creature, the Fell flagship, of course, pumps pirates. And John Rolfe actually discarded a Fire Cannon Blast. So I'm really curious to see what he has in hand that he thought that he valued more than that Fire Cannon Blast. And I'm sure Sigrist is thinking the exact same thing. It's like, what do you have here? I mean, this is currently presenting lethal damage, right? If John is at 9, he can crew the captain onto the flagship, and then he has a total of 10 power on the board. Will Mike Sigrist go for it? Will he send everything?
He's clearly thought this through after having seen what John did. He has to have something, right? I mean, that's what
has to have something.
Mike is thinking is, so he's going to start narrowing it down in his head as to what are the
And
things.
Sigrist is currently at 6 life, and there's only 5 power on the board
Yep.
on John's side. So John has to have 2 forms of interaction here. He has to get a creature off the board right now, and also needs to find a way to pick up an extra point of damage as well. This is 10 damage. I mean, what do you have? Maybe a Depths of Desire?
He has picked up 3 lands here.
He could bounce the flagship. That would save the most amount of damage.
Yes, that's
Okay.
exactly what he has, Paul. Depths of Desire. That's
Now
going to go back to hand. But he did still get to attack with the Castaways as that goes. So he's going to take 5 and fall to 4, and Sigrist just passes the turn
He
back
needs a
with
way to
the
get
2
an
mana
extra
up.
point of damage.
He's got two mountains in his hand.
And he does not have a pirate, so the Headstrong Brute cannot block. I think John might just actually...
He has to just attack with it.
He has to attack.
Yeah, it can't
Mike
block
Sigrist
anyway.
just will play the Fell flagship and attack for lethal here.
It feels like Sigrist is in a spot where he has to do that anyway.
Right.
He's on 4 lands this whole game? I mean,
Cheap pirates and the Fell flagship. That's all you need.
I guess he's really been able to put in some good work with that, because if you look, you can see that there's 5 lands for Rolfe plus 2 more in hand, so he's had access to much more mana.
Yeah, and Sigrist, of course, sees the line of just playing the flagship and attacking with everything.
Yeah.
But he just wants to play it safe. Like, John still has 2 cards in hand with 5 mana up. Of course, he can't. He doesn't have to be concerned about Unfriendly Fire because that game would already be over. But does he have another bounce spell, for example?
Mike really taking a minute here to go over his options, because if this goes poorly, it probably costs him the game.
Right.
He has already played the flagship, though, so it looks like that he is going to take the all-in line here. If he does, he will win.
As long as John doesn't have a bounce spell for specifically the Fell flagship, this is lethal. Because even if John blocks one of the pirates and has a removal spell for the other pirate, there's still 3 points of damage that's still getting through. So it has to be exactly another bounce spell. And I believe Depths of Desire, that bounces a creature, correct? Mm-hmm. So it will not bounce the actual Fell flagship here either.
No, only
You would need a
if it were
Perilous
crewed.
Voyage.
You can see John doing. I'll tell you what, Paul. It's funny. Whenever I see a player do that, I think, oh, they don't have it. Do you get that read too?
There's many levels, right? If you think that they think that you're that you're not, you know.
I will tell you,
there's
I
a
am
lot of different levels
100%
of that.
correct with this read in my lifetime. Now, it hasn't come up that often, but I have yet to whiff.
Right.
So next time you play me in a PTQ, just grab a couple of lands right before I go to
Oh,
attacks,
now I'm ready.
and I will
Now I'm ready for the. I'm ready for the coverage drafts. When I have it, I am.
I should
that
not have
mountain.
said that.
Oh,
It just gave
thank
away
you.
a lot of coverage.
that was
draft
that was a scouting report for sure.
All the
big
things I do
mistake.
for coverage, you know, bare my soul.
Look, those are the only edges I can get now. So
Sigrist does need to make a play here, though.
wow,
He has passed the turn.
passed the turn. The mountain tap worked.
It's a caution.
Oh, yeah, I already passed.
He passed.
I'm thinking.
We did see this correctly, right? John is just posturing here.
Right.
4 cards? 4.
The last time I looked, I was pretty sure I saw double mount, but he is really selling this. Maybe he does have something and I just didn't see it correctly.
Thought he had 2 mountains in hand.
Yeah. I mean, he's selling me on it right
Right.
now. No, just decides reluctantly
Okay.
to untap. I'm back on the 2 mountains guess
So
here.
Mike Sigrist playing very conservatively.
Yeah, he's going to try to set up the win next turn. He doesn't want to just lose on the spot to the Headstrong Brute, but he does give John Rolfe 1 clean draw step at a card like you were mentioning, something like an Unfriendly Fire. Risky business, but Mike is managing his risk the way that he sees fit, and that is such a huge part of our game.
I mean, John can't have a lot of options here, right? He had 2
No.
mountains in hand. If he drew another land, I mean, like.
Oh, he's found something.
Okay. Is this a water trap?
Maybe
weaver,
another Water Trap Weaver?
Maybe another mountain.
Sigrist also, will have noted that he's in a pretty good position as far as blocking goes. Even if one of his creatures were to get removed or killed, he could just turn it into a fell flagship.
Yeah.
Wow,
I
it looks
imagine
like it
he's
was
gonna crew.
Fire Cannon Blast. And here, this
Okay.
is exactly the scenario I was talking about. He has minimum 3 blockers either scenario.
Now, what's getting in? Okay, the Headstrong Brute's still getting in. That does force a block. Now, Mike Sigrist has to decide how he wants to block here.
It will just be a 1-for-1 trade.
Because if he's putting John Rolfe on exactly Perilous Voyage, because that's what it seemed like he was doing, blocking with the Desperate Castaways is not great here. Because then John Rolfe can block the Fell Flagship and then just basically gobble up the Desperate Castaways. So Mike Sigrist just going for the double block here, and I think John's just going to take down that Fell
Yeah.
Flagship and hope for no artifact.
Well, Paul, I think that Mike might actually have a copy of Dual Shot in his hand.
Oh, okay.
Which could act as a bit of a hedge where even if that were to happen, he could still finish off
Right.
the Headstrong Brute. But look at this. John Rolfe actually gets to get the Fell Flagship off the battlefield by doing this. Now, Sigrist still in a reasonable position here, though. As you can see, he can no longer attack with that Desperate Castaways.
Yeah. He did draw a Dust Legion Dreadnought
Yeah, last turn.
in the last turn, so he does have another artifact, which is why he felt a little more comfortable throwing away that artifact. But
Wow, we have a game here. Sigrist says, Fathom Fleet Firebrand, your turn. And once again, John has the ability to top deck here and finish off Mike.
yeah, there's Unfriendly Fire, just always a live draw. Not clear if he has it in his deck, but
Yeah. Tell you what, we can find out, can't we, Paul?
nah.
Because this game's starting to go for a while. And I'm wondering now. So red, he's got 3 Fire Cannon Blast.
He has a Lightning Strike in his deck.
Yeah, he does not have an Unfriendly Fire, but he does have a Lightning Strike.
Lightning Strike will get it done. Okay, Sailor of Means. Good blocker. He's got a land, right? Man, he's
God,
really
look at those
selling this
life
last
totals.
card.
It's 4-3. Like,
Yeah.
could not be closer. Okay, there's the dual shot. And I think what we're going to see is, yes, a
Yep.
cutthroat here from Sigrist. And that is going to be able to finish off one of these creatures that took damage. It looks like
A nice combination
Sailor
there.
means.
Might want to get the... Does he have another pirate he can attack with? He just has one pirate, right? Okay, so he's getting the 1/4 off the board.
Rolfe just has to let this happen.
All right.
And now can Sigrist attack for lethal? Close. He doesn't have any mana left over. He does get a trigger from the Direfleet captain.
Oh, okay.
Is that 3/3, correct? Can I read it?
Yeah, it's 3/3.
It's a 3/3. It's going to get +1/+1 for each other attacking
So
pirate.
he needs to block the Firebrand.
Yeah, I mean, he can block, he just needs to block something.
Right, but he can get that one off the board.
That's right.
Yeah.
And he would go to 1.
Yep.
So that's the obvious block. And now John Rolfe is going to be in a
He needs to draw Lightning
situation where
Strike.
has
Has
to
he
hit
already
strike.
cast it?
I can't see his graveyard.
Yeah,
so we're along for the ride
All right,
with
here
you.
we
Let's
go.
see if he
Is it
finds
Lightning
it.
Strike?
Nope, a
Nope.
pair of mountains. And Mike Sigrist wins that game. That means we can go back to our main match. Eli Kassis is eagerly awaiting here as he's already played, it looks like, not only a land, but a 1-drop.
Oh, so is it time to
the Fire Shrine Keeper.
to go swashbuckling? Is it swashbuckling time?
Oh, look at this, though.
Okay.
A Kinjali's Collar could
think that
set
was
up
a
something
swashbuckling.
explosive.
Oh no, but he's going for the opt-ins.
Well, he doesn't. Yeah, he didn't. He wouldn't need to cast it now anyway because the menace. He could still just get in.
Right, but you get to maximize on the damage. I
Yeah.
feel like you play swashbuckling.
you are
can
right.
play it on turn 2.
No, that's a good point. If you have a 1-drop and you have swashbuckling, you're probably right.
Yeah.
It was Lightning Strike in hand for him.
Ah, okay.
Also, a Stormfleet Spy looks very good here. Sky Terror on turn 2, so lots of plays here from in the early stages. Players really valuing these low mana cost spells highly, and it's showing.
And the Stormfleet Spy not going to be as good as now Owen Turtenwald has access to the double block. Eli Kassis might use the Lightning Strike here on the Sky Terror and get in for an additional point of damage.
Yeah, Sky Terror is about one of the better targets you're going to find. At 2 mana, it's effectively unblockable, and it just deals
Double
a stream
evasion.
of damage. Yeah. And there's a Headstrong Brute.
But it cannot block.
Nope.
So he actually does get to play the Stormfleet Spy this turn with the attack.
Very nice sequence here from Eli Kassis.
At least he drew something better.
Better than drawing a card?
I think he might have a
Can't
Headstrong
imagine.
Brute in hand, so maybe he wants to be a little more aggressive.
That is actually better. Reluctant to admit it, but yes. Yeah, he
He's like,
did.
I really wanted to draw this card, but 3/3 menace.
And the truth is, he'll be able to.
Right.
Okay, 2-drop here from Turtenwald, and another one? Well, no,
Oh.
it actually wasn't another 2-drop. It
It was
was
a 3-drop.
yeah, the Kinjali's Collar doing a little bit of work there and enabling the Hammer Skull to come down as well. So the Headstrong Brute's going to attack. But Turtenwald's not interested in blocking here. Doesn't want to trade off the Hammer Skull for it. And there is the Stormfleet Spy from Kassis.
Kassis does have that Tempest color, so Kassis is now in the game plan of just getting Owen as low as possible to have the Tempest color be the finishing blow.
And speaking of finishers, he's also got a Hijack, which,
Ooh.
on a card like Hammer Skull can really do work. And he even has a dive down as well to protect his own board. So, the setup is pretty good here for Eli Kassis, and it's going to be on Owen Turtenwald to fight through a pretty solid game plan here. And it looks like Owen is just going to take it right to him. His game plan is going to be just to outright race.
And Owen is actually just out of spells. He's just sitting on 2 lands currently, so Eli has all the tools to race here with that Hijack, with that Tempest collar, and a dive down for protection as well. So this is an interesting turn. Is he interested in maybe hijacking the Hammer Skull this turn, getting in for, 2, 4, 5, 8 damage, putting Owen Turtenwald down to 6, and on the following turn, he can play a Tempest Caller for lethal
And just finish off the game.
with dive down protection. Now he just has to be concerned whether or not Owen can get him on the next turn, as Owen has access to 6 damage. But yeah, okay, he's going with the Hijack play here.
Yeah, he's just going to go for it. So targeting your Territorial Hammer Skull, take it, which is removing another blocker
This is
from
8.
Owen's side.
8, I go to 6.
And Turtenwald has nothing to say about it. He just says, sure.
This
And that ends
matchup's
the
all
game.
about not blocking. Nobody ever blocks.
Yeah,
So Owen Turtenwald needs something here.
he does need something. He's got 2 lands in hand.
That is
he
not going to
finds.
do it. I think that was a Fathom Fleet Firebrand. Tempest Caller.
Yeah, it was.
It's just going to get the job done here.
Yeah, there's no way for Owen to get in for 11 damage here, and he has to really consider his own life total here.
Yeah. Eli has exactly 6 damage here.
Tap.
Yeah, and Owen says, well, I'm not going to win the race just sitting here, so I'm going to play my Firebrand and try to set up lethal.
1 card.
Yep. I think Eli just wants to draw like an island or something, just to be able to play Tempest Caller with protection.
Yeah, instead
But
he
he's
draws
still
a
gonna-
mountain, but
still gonna go
Tempest-
for it.
Yeah, Tempest Caller is going to, of course, get the job done here, as Owen says.
Boom,
Sure,
6.
no problem. Attack me with everything. And that's the game. That's Eli Kassis picking up game number 2 and forcing a game 3. These two are really going at it. We're going to take a look back over once again at Mike Sigrist playing against John Rolfe. And let's see how game number 2 is shaping up between these two. That game number 1 got very close down the stretch.
Yeah,
But
John Rolfe
Sigrist emerged victorious there. What were you going to say, Paul?
John Rolfe has a lot of premium removal in his deck. He has 3 copies of Fire Cannon Blast to go along with that Lightning Strike
Ooh.
that he could have drawn for the win in that first game.
Yeah, it's quite good against Sigrist as well. The Pirates deck, is pretty vulnerable to those cheaper removal spells.
Oh, and he's also got an Entrancing Melody in his deck.
It's a pretty good one.
Looks like that Fell Flagship is doing a lot of work, though.
And it does seem like we're on a race here.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, there's an Arsonist now for John Rolfe. And it's going to take out, it turns out, a Swamp in the end. And these guys are kind of just going at it because, Pirates Cutlass. Siren Stormtamer picked it up, and it's just been jamming in the air and just forcing the issue.
Yeah, so Mike Sigrist kind of has to try to fight back. He can attack with the Cutthroat, as it is a 4/3. But I imagine he's only going to do that if he has the follow-up block.
Or if he feels like he can race, which it sure doesn't look like from this
Yeah.
position.
Okay, he's got a Hatchling. That's a pretty good blocker. So I imagine he's going to attack here with the Cutthroat. I guess I think I might have also seen a dual shot, so maybe he would rather just attack with the Fell Flagship, play the Hatchling, and then use dual shot to finish off the 4/4 and also make a 3/3. I think that might have been a consideration.
Oh, interesting. But he has ultimately decided that the Cutthroat's going to get in the red zone.
I'll take 10 all.
And he's going to take it, putting the life totals at 10 each. And there's a Raptor Hatchling. But, if Sigrist has that dual shot in hand, he does have still kind of a cool play there. He can either just block and let it soak up the damage and get the Dino, or, he could even upgrade it if he wanted.
I guess he doesn't even need to dual shot here because I think John is pretty likely. Well, actually, maybe he won't attack. Maybe his game plan is now to just kind of muck up the ground and just win with that Siren Stormtamer.
Yeah, he drew a Brazen Buccaneers, so he's just so incentivized to get in,
Yeah, that is true.
All right, let's see what happens this turn here.
Explore.
Yeah, and he is set to just sit back.
Is that a Spell Pierce?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think.
Hey, you have
When your opponent knows about the Spell Pierce, it gets a lot more
Yeah,
awkward.
that's. I mean, then again, he has made Sigrist sacrifice a land here. Sigrist laughs.
It's like, do I want the Spell Pierce? Ah.
I mean, if you can apply enough pressure, you can force your opponent where their Spell Pierce is
Right.
good, but it's a pretty risky business.
You can just play creatures. It's an easy enough thing to do. Ooh, and Mike
Was that a-
Sigrist drew a reasonable answer
Was
to
it
that
an
Siren Storm
elaborate
Tamer.
fire cannon?
That was an elaborate fire cannon that does deal with the Siren Storm Tamer.
He needs more mana, though.
Right.
That lost swamp could come back to bite him a little bit. He didn't really have a big choice there. Okay, well, you know what? Let's let this one finish up because our main match is ready to go. And I can tell that the players are kind of chomping at the bit, and it could easily end with enough time to come back and check on this.
Oh,
match.
absolutely. These games have not lasted very long.
No, the games themselves and the players have been playing.
I think they've spent more time waiting, actually, than actually playing the games.
Yeah, so let's jump back there, and if they're still going, we'll get back and see what John Rolfe and Mike Sigrist are up to over there. But for now, this could be a quick one between these two players.
Ooh,
Owen gets to be on the draw. No 2-drop?
No 1 or 2 drops, but swashbuckling. This is not how the deck's supposed to play out. Come on, Eli.
Oh, it's for both of them, it's true.
Yeah, what is this? Oh, but
Oh.
the captain.
Unfortunately, Owen's in business mode, or else he would give us his impression of Captain Lanneray Storm.
He did plenty of that, supposedly, while testing for the World Championships.
It is true. I have confirmed all of this. We've got some match updates, by the way. Guillaume Matignon has won his match over Yam Wing Chung 2-0.
Wow.
That means that Yam has finally taken his first loss. But check this out. Guillaume Matignon is 10-1.
So no more undefeated players left.
That's right. And Elias Watsfeld also won his match against Kelvin Chu. Elias is now 9-2. Is that a rampaging Ferocidon?
Yeah, and it traded for Captain Lannery Storm.
Okay. Ooh, Sky Terror, but wait, there's more. So 2 flyers
More
now
flyers.
from Turtenwald. It's only 3 power total between them, but still, with no board for Eli Kassis, that could start to add up quite quickly.
3. Sure. Good.
Slower start for both players here. So Owen just drew all of these 2-drops after Captain Lannery
Yes,
Storm.
we know exactly what his draw has looked like, don't we?
Just 2-drop, 2-drop, 2-drop.
Block.
Ili's going to attack with the Water Trap Weaver, but Owen just says, no.
Okay.
So
I
he
guess-
did. He was just trying to enable raid, but he actually gets a little punished for that here, as Owen has dual shot to finish off the Water Trap Weaver. Not a devastating blow, but a setback for Eli.
Right, but he still wanted to play that Pyromancer, so
Yep.
this makes sense. And I think he's just on the defensive here, hoping Owen runs out of threats.
And a Pterodon Knight is the follow-up. You could see that Owen didn't mind trading off the Fathom Fleet Firebrand for the 5-mana Pyromancer there, because A, Owen only has 1 mountain, and B, he wants to increase the chances that his Pterodon Knight is able to start attacking, since currently he doesn't have flying.
Oh, but Prosperous
Unfortunately
Pirates.
for Turtenwald, that did not work out.
3-4 bigger than 3-3.
Yes, and Prosperous Pirates, one of the slower cards for Eli Kassis. We've seen Swashbuckling and Fire Shrine Keepers and stuff like that.
Yeah, but looks like both players are mostly out of resources.
Oh, he
all right.
swashbuckled it up
Off
and
to the
got in.
races.
Wow.
5 versus 4.
Man, these guys are content to race. There is no doubt about that.
Yeah, it's
Precarious positioning here.
yeah, it's anybody's game at this point.
It really
The
is.
race is super close, and if Owen whoever just draws more threats, it's basically top deck mode. I guess Eli can, slow it down if he does draw a few more lands, because the Prosperous Pirates can block the Pterodon Knight. But Eli is currently winning the race. If
He is.
nothing else happens, Eli has Owen on a 3-turn clock, while Owen needs to attack 4 times for lethal.
Did Owen find a Sun Crown Hunters?
That would be great.
I think the other card in his hand may be a Slash of Talons.
Ah, I see.
There we go.
Okay, so he's drawn some spell. Oh, Suncrown Hunters was a very, very strong draw.
He has declined to attack,
Interesting.
though with his other flyer.
Oh, because now he has the option of double blocking. and he has 6 toughness on the board, and the Prosperous Pirates is currently a 5/6. This also conceals his hand a little bit more.
Yeah. So
does
you
have
meant
that
he has
treasure.
6 power on the board to take down the Prosperous
He has 6
Pirates,
power on the
right?
board,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he also has. Oh, sorry, he has 7 toughness.
He
on
has
the
actually
board.
has 7
Yeah.
toughness, yeah. But he has enough to actually kill the thing, although he didn't.
What is happening? So Owen chose not to block. Oh, Owen has lethal here. He can attack with everything, then
Slash.
cast Slash
right.
of Talons
Yep.
on the Sun Crown Hunters for lethal damage.
He can.
As long as Eli has nothing.
Yes, he can even leave back his
block.
fire to make sure that he doesn't die next turn, as a possibility.
And you can make sure damage resolves first. Then before the main step, you can still cast Slash of Talons.
That's right.
Deal the last 3 points of
End
damage.
of combat, Slash
Does this
of
work?
Talons. Does it work? Ely needs a bounce spell. Or
Removal
Owen
spell will
Turtenwald
not
is going
do
to
it.
be 9-2, knocking down the player from Team
Oh, so
Cardhoarder.
close. He had a lightning
He
strike
doesn't-
in hand.
He doesn't have it.
Wow.
And that's going to do it. Owen Turtenwald finds the win, and even a smile from ye old O-Rat there as he picks one off the top of the library. Slash of Talons. Okay, that didn't look very good against a 6 toughness attacker, but bang. Sun Crown Hunters. He assembled the combo. And by the way, I have to mention that we saw Owen only cast that on his creatures.
Yeah, that's the best Slash of Talons I've ever seen.
Me too.
And you only cast it on your own creature.
He should frame that Slash of Talons.
Yeah.
All right, so that means that we are going to go back and check on Mike Sigrist and John Rolfe.
I'm assuming
As
this is
predicted.
the same game? Mm-hmm. That's a
It
giant
is.
Prosperous Pirates.
Yeah, there's that elaborate fire cannon. That is a burly Prosperous Pirates, though, and Sigrist is down to 4.
Sigrist does have the 3/3 dinosaur, so he can block, then use the cannon. Oh, he's actually using the cannon on the 2/2 here and not the 5/5 Prosperous Pirates. Interesting.
Strange.
We have 14.
He could have taken the hit
Yeah.
and gone down to 2 and then untapped, pitched a card, and finished off the board. But he chose not to.
Okay, and
Well,
Game
the
3.
game didn't work out for him either way. And that means we're going to get a game 3 between these two.
so wait, maybe the life totals were off. I'm not 100% sure because so he could have blocked and gone down to 2 if his life total was 4.
Yes, and then
Use
untapped.
the cannon to finish
Yeah.
off the pirates. I guess John would have then moved the Cutlass over to the Water Trap Weaver.
True.
But I think Sigrist drew a dual shot, so he would have been able to untap the Elaborate Fire Cannon, use the dual shot to finish off the Water Trap Weaver. Then both players would have been in top deck mode.
Yeah. It's always hard because we come in not knowing
We don't know
exactly
everything.
what the players
Right.
know, right? And I would guess that if we asked Sigrist, he would say, "Oh, well, I knew he had blank in his hand," or
Yeah,
something along those lines. Maybe he had that spell pierce.
When it a second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, sideboarding complete for Sigrist. Rolfe is still taking a look. These players play at a much more deliberate pace than our main feature match did, both in terms of how the decks play out and also just their personal play style. So
Yeah.
that's why we're heading into game 3 now, even though we've already finished 3 on the main. You can see that John Rolfe is here. He's playing for Metagame Guru's Moon. They have a sun and a moon team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's representing the Moon team. And again, Sigrist, who we've talked about throughout the course of the weekend, is on Team Channel Fireball.
Yeah, many members of Team Channel Fireball still in top 8 contention.
Yeah, Metagame Guru's Moon is a kind of a varied bunch. It's John Rolfe that you see here. It's also Jacob Wilson, Nathan Smith, Brandon Ayers, Travis Wu, and Mattia Rizzi from Italy. So kind of a mixed group of players there. But I don't know the exact origins between the Metagame Guru's Moon team, but I wouldn't be shocked to hear that at least partially speaking, what we did see is some of the players that didn't end up on the main teams thought, I'm going to be at the Pro Tour. I'm going to be making pro points here. We should team up just for mutual
Absolutely.
benefit. And I wouldn't be shocked to hear that was partially what was going on here.
I think there are even some teams that actually just have 6 players on them, but not necessarily testing with each other, because
Nice.
there is a team series, right?
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, there is a big reward for doing well as a team.
Here's Opt from Rolfe. Fathom Fleet Firebrand kicks things off for Sigrist, so quite a good start for him, it must be said. This 2-drop has been very impressive. And no turn 2 play here from Rolfe as well, so in comes the Firebrand. And a nice follow-up here from Sigrist as well. Deadeye Tormentor is going to make John Rolfe discard a card.
Now will John use this Lightning Strike just to kind of get the tempo back a little bit?
Yes, I think he will just kill the Firebrand. Like, I mean, unless he has a great blocker.
But it must feel so bad
Ooh,
because
he didn't.
Because Mike Sigrist already got that card from the Raid Trigger and Deadeye Tormentor. It feels even worse when you have the Lightning Strike now.
Okay, well, he did end up using removal, though it was on his turn rather than using the Lightning Strike at instant speed. He values that higher. And whoa, look at this turn from Sigrist. 2 drops.
Not the most aggressive
he put up a grand total of 1 power.
Yeah,
one
power that can attack.
Yeah. Still, looks good.
But he slammed it, so it looked really aggressive.
Good optics there,
Yeah.
Sigrist. Well done. Sigrist, of course, a player of the year. And a limited master. I mean, really, the Team Channel Fireball team has 3 just limited.
Yeah, I just want
awesome
to go to their
players.
limited meetings and see like Martin Yuza, Ben Stark, Mike Sigrist.
I'm going to try to get into the next one.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're always cool with coming, but we have to match it up with our coverage schedule.
Right,
but
of course.
I find it useful because that will usually happen on a Thursday. And then the Pro Tour is the next day. And for me in the booth, it's really good to just touch base and see what the pros are thinking and if it lines up with what I've been learning along the way. And boy, those 3 players in one room, it's just insane.
Yes. If Mike Sigrist doesn't actually have anything, this Prosperous Pirates actually does a really good job of never mind.
He's got a Deathless Ancient.
He has something.
Yes, and a big something just bigger than the Pirates.
And I think Mike is basically just playing this as kind of a vanilla 6-mana 4/4 flyer. Not a lot of vampires in this black-red deck.
No, that's a bad air elemental there.
Yep.
But you know what? 4/4 with flying, even at 6 mana, is still powerful. It's still bigger than most of the creatures that people play, and it can still finish the game. Though here, Rolfe is going to get aggressive.
Ooh, does this mean he has another Fire Cannon Blast?
Well, the problem is, of course, is that Sigrist could just block with Deathless Ancient here.
Right. He could just block the Prosperous Pirates here with the Deathless Ancient. Let's see if he has another good block. Yeah, he does have a double block available as well with the Raptors and the Desperate Castaways on the Headstrong Brute. I think he might want to kind of preserve that Deathless Ancient. He doesn't want to leave it vulnerable to a Lightning Strike if maybe he knows that John has that in his deck, or maybe something like a Dual Shot.
I mean, would you be sad if you blocked Prosperous Pirates? John said, okay, go to damage. It died. And then he said, I'm going to use a Lightning Strike too?
Well, it depends on what you think your win condition is for the matchup.
Like if you can't pull a win out.
Right, if you think Deathless Ancient is how you're going to win this game, then maybe...
Then you would be sad.
Right,
okay.
Exactly.
Even if your opponent 2-for-1 themselves to do it, yeah. So he is, in fact, looking like that is exactly what he's thinking, Paul, and he's going to go for the double block. Interesting here as well is that, John can just simply order the Castaways first and not let Mike get the token if you'd like.
That's a pretty bad exchange. Oh, okay, but John does have a dive down here.
Okay, and that will save his Brute and get in for 3 damage. So he trades dive down for Desperate Castaways. He gets in for 3, but Sigrist has kept the Deathless Ancient, and that means that that's going to be his win condition, and he's going to start bashing with it in the air, and there we go. By the way, another Raptor hatchling hits the battlefield, this one for John Rolfe. They don't look great here. They really need to get into combat to be effective.
Oh,
and
just
there's a Cutthroat, too.
The no-value Cutthroat.
Yeah, sometimes you got to Hill Giant it up,
Yep.
It doesn't feel good, though.
Yeah, I think Mike played it out because he just didn't see a scenario where John would be leaving back creatures to block. So he's just like, I think it's better for me to just have this on the board so I can block the Headstrong Brute. Oh, wow.
Ooh, Pirate's Cutlass. Not what Sigrist wanted to see here.
And he's got that Lightning Strike in hand, too.
Yeah, he can even kill the Fathom Fleet Cutthroat with it. All right, well, he's going to go ahead and equip up the Headstrong Brute.
The hatchling does give a reasonable block
Yes.
for at least one of the creatures. But I guess this might make Sigrist run the double block here with maybe the Raptor Hatchling and the Cutthroat. And then John will likely use the Lightning Strike to get the Cutthroat out of the way.
Yes,
Or he could just choose to save the Lightning Strike
Yes.
and move the Cutlass over to the Prosperous Pirates. That is something
could.
he could do.
Also remember that John can order the Cutthroat first and put all the damage on it if he wants to not let Mike upgrade his Hatchling. I don't know if John would just prefer that he just kept it. If he does go for the 2-for-1, Mike will get the Hatchling back. He has to assign lethal damage if it's the only thing left.
Yeah, and he does go for the Lightning Strike here.
Yeah, so
He just
Mike,
wants to have a bigger board presence.
Yep, and this is going to help Sigrist out a little bit, but the key here, Rolfe gets to keep that Headstrong Brute with the Cutlass on it and gets to keep attacking.
But Rolfe is 3 hits away from this Deathless Ancient.
And again, you identified the line earlier, Paul, when you said if Sigrist sees this as his way to win the game, he's not going to put it at danger. And that's exactly what's happening here. So everything's revolving around that Deathless Ancient surviving and Sigrist just blunting the assault here from John. He doesn't even need to win these combats. He just needs to keep staying alive.
He just needs to survive. And John...
Two turns.
Yeah, John still has, a reasonable attack here with the Headstrong Brute. Mike Sigrist does not have a profitable block, but he can also just take 5 damage here.
Mm-hmm. He's at 17 still.
Right, and the Prosperous Pirates alone is not a good block either. The Pirate's Cutlass can only do so much work here, so... John in a tough spot.
Oh, boy.
He does have
Paul.
multiple copies of...
Paul. Look, Paul.
What?
Sure
I'm not
strike.
used to people
Sure,
yelling
saying
my
your
name
name
a bunch
over
of
and over.
times over and over again.
Look at
It's
this.
never happened.
Dude, every time you're on camera, the chat goes nuts. They just type Paul. Sure strike in hand for Sigrist.
Oh, so that shortens the clock.
That's 1 turn.
John
As
has
in-
to have drawn a Fire Cannon Blast this turn to
Let's see
survive.
what he's got.
Does he have it?
Dude.
It's a lot of mountains.
He's only got 2 mountains, so he's just going to go for an equip. And additionally, once Sigrist sees that John doesn't have 5 mana available, he's going to know that the way is clear. Now, there's still bounce spells, right? We did see Depth of Desire, and there is some risk associated with it. So I'm curious to see if Sigrist feels like I should just go for it here, or if he says, I could just kill you next turn, and I'm just going to give you another rip at it here.
He's also just...
And there they go.
Mike Sigrist has also played a bit more conservatively. We saw that in Game 1 as well. So it is possible that he decides not to go for it. But
He's going
he's going for it.
Sure strike, and that's going to get the job done. Mike Sigrist moves to 10-1. Another great draft performance from him. A little sigh of relief, and we're going to be transitioning into Standard, where Mike, if he puts up a good performance here on the second half of the day, he's going to be in another Pro Tour top 8.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, he's already, a one-time player of the year and, starting to add up that resume time after time here on one of the best teams going. In fact, they had the best record yesterday, and he was a big part of that. And now all of a sudden, he's continued it through the booster draft
He's 6-0 draft?
I think he's 6-0
Yeah, I
draft.
think he might have 6-0 the draft. And
Yeah.
and just watching him play, you just get to learn so much. He was like, I identified this as my game plan. I cannot afford to even let this Deathless Ancient take a single point of damage because I know you have Lightning Strike.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, this is my win condition, and I'm going to carry this to victory and protect it at all costs. And it actually ended up paying off for him.
Worked out beautifully for him. 10-1 heading in. We've got Standard coming up. A little bit of a break here. We'll be back after these messages.
So it's lunchtime here on day 2 of Pro Tour Ixalan. Rich Hagan, your host here. Lots to bring you in this lunchtime segment, but let's start with the leaderboard. Let's show you where we are here on day 2, because by my reckoning, we have 3 players tied for the lead. So there you see it, 2 players at 10 and 1, Yan Wing Chun, Guillaume Matignon. Now, I believe some results are still to come in. You see Mike Sigrist at 9 and 1. He, of course, advanced just a couple of minutes ago to 10 and 1 to take a share of the lead. You've got Pascal Menard with his unintentional draw in the Pascal's Wager match of yesterday against Pascal Viren of Belgium. Then the 9 and 2s, you've got Piotr Glagowski there. John Rolfe is now on the 9 and 2s because he, of course, just lost to Mike Sigrist. Christian Hawk of Germany, the Phoenix team, Phoenix 404. Genesis is Seth Manfield there. Genesis is talking of Genesis, Revelation, Martin Dang still quite good at Magic, it turns out, Pro Tour champion at 9 and 2. And then you start the 8 and 3s. Sam Ehlenfeld still hanging on there at 8 and 3. So that's the leaderboard. But as we close out our limited coverage, it is time for us now to go round the table.